All right, this public regular meeting of the Board of Education for July 9th, 2024 is called to order. All items being considered this evening are posted on the PPS website under the Board and Meetings tab. This meeting is being streamed live on PPS TV Services website and on Channel 28 and will be replayed throughout the next 2 weeks. So please check the district website for replay times. Good evening and welcome to the first meeting of 24-25 school year. I'll be chairing this this evening's meeting as Chair Hollins is not able to join us in person, but he's out there. And Director Sullivan is also joining us this evening. And for her, I understand it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. So her level of dedication and commitment is on a whole nother level. And I just want to personally say thank you so much for joining us to the both of y'all. I don't know that I love this board that much. I don't know that I would have showed up. So I appreciate y'all so very much. Before we get started tonight, I'd like to take a few moments to acknowledge the loss of 2 individuals who passed away in the recent weeks while at one of our schools. And if it's okay with the rest of my colleagues, I'd like to take this moment to, we have some cards here that I'd like to pass around. And before we do that, I'd like to just take one moment in honor of and recognizing those, just a moment of silence, so that in recognition of our colleagues, if that's okay. Thank you. As many of you are aware, on May 30th, Samantha, or Sam Deschnes, died in a construction accident at the Benson High School site. And while Sam was not an employee of PPS, her contributions to our district and specifically the Benson community will be felt for decades. And our condolences go out to her family. On June 13th, Craig Gintz, a custodian, was at Larahorse School when he passed. Craig joined the PPS custodial team in 2007. He worked his way up to a head custodian and had been our mobile head custodian for many years. Craig was an integral part of our team. He was always there with an upbeat attitude, a story to share, and a hand or two to offer to help. He was always willing to go out in the middle of the night and board up windows or drive through the snow or do whatever was needed to ensure that the staff and our students could return to their schools the next day. His dedication and genuine love for his work and for those that he worked with was clear. So our heartfelt condolences go out to Craig's wife, Manna, and to their family. And so it's with those individuals in mind that I wanted to take that moment of silence. Some things require us to pause and not just go on with things, as that just because we should. And so I want to thank you all for allowing us to have that moment. Again, I want to say to the families of those who've experienced this loss, our condolences go out to you. and we're so sorry for your loss. With that being said, it brings me to the first order of business which we have, which is our board leadership votes. That wasn't listed here, but I will make sure that we get that. Also, these are the cards, so I'm going to start down here with Eddie, and at some point throughout the night, there's no rush.
So we signed them all?
Yeah, we're signing them all.
Oh.
Right there. And so while that's going around, although it wasn't listed here, I will take a moment to recognize the newest member of our team. I don't know if the camera is going to get off of me, and get on to the newest member of our team, JJ. And so that the camera can focus on him directly, I'm going to pause for a moment and allow him an opportunity to speak to the people and introduce yourself, sir.
Well, thank you so much to my new colleagues here at the board. But foremost, I don't have an official student rep report prepared tonight, but I just want to say I look forward to starting this school year off strong. I know we had to make some tough decisions, but I really look forward to connecting with the student body, but also understanding, the situations our students in. They came back from a pandemic, they came back from a strike, and they're still here. And I would like to thank all of our students for their hard work, and I look forward to connecting with all of our students and building a better relationship with our affinity groups, our student councils across PPS, and the broader student body here.
Excellent.
Welcome.
Since it's not listed, I'm just going to take a liberty to allow the rest of my colleagues, starting this way, and let's go around the room and welcome our newest representative to the board of PPS.
Well, JJ, welcome. We just met right before the meeting, so I'm really excited to have you on the board. I'm excited always to hear the student voice, and anything I can do to help bring that forward, I'm excited to do. So glad you're here.
Okay, this isn't the first introduction. In fact, you've already interviewed me once, and other board members. I'm looking forward to your engagement this year. I know you've spent the last year prepping for this, so I know you're going to be able to hit the ground running and do a really good job, not only representing students, but also being a voice for the community for the next year. So looking forward to having you here.
JJ, I just met you also upstairs. It's going to be a pleasure working with you. I hope that I can be a resource for you. I'm happy to share my phone numbers with you, and really looking forward to following your leadership. So welcome.
Hi, JJ. I'm privileged to have sort of worked with you a bit here and there through the Student Success Committee, so I'm glad you're here. I think this is, we are lucky to have you. I think your voice, I'm glad that you're using your voice and you get to use it here.
Hi, JJ. I've been fortunate to meet you quite a few times. Even when I was very brand new on the board, you were at some of the meetings where I was there, and just really excited to have you with us.
Welcome.
Let's not worry about. He's on that screen.
Can you guys not hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you so much for that. It was short, brief, and directly to the point. Sue, would you? Excuse me, Dr. Armstrong. Would you like to share?
Yeah, just absolutely. Welcome, JJ. I'm glad that we get to be on this journey as our first meeting today, and many more to come. And so I'm just excited that you're a part of this, and just thank you for agreeing to serve. I look forward to it.
I'm super excited about having you here. What I'm looking forward to the most is the pressure. I want you to bring the pressure, the student pressure, the voice of the student, and I want you to bring that pressure. And I know that every one of us here that's sitting at this dais, we expect nothing less. We expect you to bring that student voice, to bring that pressure, and I'm excited because I know that you can do it. I know that you're ready to do it. I just don't know if I'm ready for how eager you are to bring that pressure. And so I look forward to to what we have in store and to what the future holds for us. And thank you to my colleagues who told me, let me know that it was on the other page. We were going to get to you. We weren't going to forget. But I'm glad that we bumped it up so that we can get all this other stuff in and out of the way so that we can move on. All right? All right. I almost said something else that would have dated where I come from. I almost said it.
Go ahead.
No, we're not doing it. So, I'm really excited. It's summertime. I'm happy for the great weather. I'm just really excited about everything that the future has in store for our district. And so forgive my bubbliness. In any case, in May of 2021, the board adopted a process by which board members could be considered for board leadership positions. This resolution states that in order to be considered for leadership position, board members must notify the board manager in writing by June 1st if they plan to run for the board leadership, which is then voted on by board members at the first board meeting in June. Both Director Wang and I have expressed an interest in being considered for the board chair. Directors Brim Edwards and DePass have indicated that they would like to be considered for the board vice chair. So since we have more than one board member interested in each of the board leadership positions, we will take a voice vote for each of the positions, with each board member stating their vote. The same process will be followed in deciding who will be the next board vice chair. So we're going to go down the room, and then we'll begin the vote for the board chair. And then when I state your name, can you please indicate your vote for the board chair? Director Scott.
For board chair?
Yes, we're
Just wanna
doing
make
chair.
sure. Great. Director Wong.
Director Brim Edwards.
Director Green.
Director DePass.
Director Wong.
Director Hollins.
Director Green.
Director Sullivan.
Director Wong,
Director Wong.
Me?
Director Green. I'm really reading the script. Green. With that, we have a 4-3 with Director Wong getting 4 and Director Green getting 3. Congratulations to Director Wong. You are the next board chair. We can clap.
Am I supposed to say something?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait. Yes, you are.
Right now or after? Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, for your support. I'm really looking forward to this responsibility and take it with a lot of humility. And I really want to help us focus, us as a board, on raising student achievement, making sure that our staff have the support they need, and really creating a unified vision for all of us so that we can get behind. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we will move to decide the next board vice chair. When I state your name, can you please indicate your vote for the board vice chair? And we're going to go in the same order. Director Scott.
Director DePass.
Director Brim Edwards.
JBE.
That's your name. Director DePass.
DePass.
Director Hollins.
Director Brim Edwards.
Director Sullivan.
Director DePass,
Director Wong.
DePass, Director DePass.
Director Green. There it goes again. JBE. We have 4 votes for Director DePass for the board vice chair, and congratulations. Again, we can clap. What is this?
So quiet.
What is this wheat sauce? Okay.
So thank you for your confidence in me. I'm looking forward to really supporting as one of the senior, literally probably the senior member here, but also just senior, along with Director Brem Edwards, looking forward to supporting Chair Wong and keeping us focused on our North Star in the district, and that's the things that we're actually tasked with. That's policy, hiring and evaluating the superintendent, and focusing on student achievement. So thank you.
Thank you.
Director Green, or Chair Green, for this meeting, I just want to take a moment. I don't want to let the moment pass without thanking you, both you as the Vice Chair and Chair Hollins for your work this year. Having in my 11th year on the board, you know, some years are easier than others, and I would say this is one of our most challenging years we've had, from the historic strike to reaching a settlement, passing a local option, which provides $100 million a year to our students, keeping us together as a board, focused on our students, bringing into our board meetings the joy of, bringing in the joy of middle school. I think that's quite saying something. And I think the thing I appreciated most is just the laser focus of remembering the students who PPS haven't served well and keeping our resources, our focus, our commitment, our passion for them. And I think the two of you, did that day in and day out through this year. So I really want to thank both of you for your service and your leadership this past year.
Thank you.
Could I add something to that? I would especially like to thank Gary for his support for me as a new board member. Not sure I could have done it without you, Gary. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to ditto both of those statements to both of you, Vice Chair Green and Chair Hollins. I'm really happy that you took on probably the hardest year I've ever seen at PPS, and yeah, ditto to both of them, and I'm very just happy to be working alongside you. Very lucky. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to go next, if that's okay. I want to thank both of you, especially for your entrepreneurialness in trying things out, seeing what stuck, advocating really strongly for the kids that we've historically and currently underserved, your steadfastness, your attendance, just you're working through the multiple operational and academic issues that come across our desk every day, and just really appreciate you both personally.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to thank both of you for your dedication and support to our students, and for also bringing the humor to the dais here.
I'll echo all of those comments. I have learned and continue to learn a ton from both of you, so thank you so much for your service this year. Really appreciate it.
I just want to thank you for everyone. It's been a pleasure serving each and every one of you guys and our students. And I said this before, I think this is a great, fantastic board. I absolutely love and respect each and every one of you guys. But I do want to make something very clear, and this is to the public and to anybody else that's watching. Just because we had a split vote here, I want everybody to be understanding and very clear that just because we have a split vote, once the vote is done, we are all together as one. And we are a team of 9. And I said a team of 9 because I'm including the superintendent and our student rep as well. So I just want to make sure for the public, for everyone else who's watching, once the vote is done, we are a unified group and we are together no matter what. So once again, thanks everyone.
And I just want to say thank you to everybody. It's been an amazing year. It's been a wonderful ride, and we still have a lot of things to do Our work, regardless of who sits in the seat, our work still must go on. And so I'm excited to be able to do this job with everyone here. And I'm just excited for what the next step looks like. I mean, I don't know. I'm just super excited about all of it. I've been reading over reports all day, and that's weird within itself. And then playing, it's just like, it's a good season. So with that being said, since we're talking about reports, let's get to that. The next item on our agenda is that of our superintendent report with our new superintendent, Dr. Kimberly Armstrong, and let's give her a big old round of applause. Oh yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And before I jump in it, I also want to echo everyone and say thank you. I know that the most important job that you all have as board members is hiring a superintendent, and so how lucky was I to be selected by the board, and knowing the role that chair and vice chair played in that, I will always hold close. So thank you for that. And then I just wanted to add before I jump in, in addition to remembrance for Craig and Sam, we also lost another head custodian from Rose City Park, and that's John Morrison. And that was just last week, July 1st. And so sorry you didn't have that update. So don't feel bad about missing it. We didn't get that to you. But just know we have a card for that family as well. And then that's in addition to two former and one current student. But because they're minors, I'm not going to say their name. But I just want to say that we're starting off this academic year, July 1, in remembrance of those who served, and also thinking forward about those we need to continue to serve. So thank you for that. So I'm excited. My first superintendent's report of the season, and I want to start off with appreciations. I had the opportunity to get around and about, and so for the June leadership celebration, being in community with our district leaders was so amazing. The welcome event at King Elementary on June 5th was wonderful, and we had a chance to see it play out on news for about 6 days in a row, but it's okay. I'm always happy to have a slow news week, right? That means that there's not a lot of horrible things happening, so that's good. And then finally having the opportunity to attend a conference with other leaders focused on females in the leadership role, and recognizing the lift that we have ahead of us. So just wanting to express appreciations, and then also to let you all know what I'll be up to through the month of July. I put a couple of quick points. I'll not read them all to you, but as you can imagine, meet and greets, one-on-ones, lots of planning, strategizing, collaborating, hiring, making sure that we are paying attention to the initiatives that we need to have in place to raise student achievement, and really dig into our student data and our performance matrix. So that's July for Dr. Armstrong. Also, I had the opportunity, selfie credit to Julia Brim-Edwards, I had the opportunity to sit down with each of you for about an hour and talk through some of the priorities and your hopes and dreams as a governance team, and then what you bring to the work. And there were some themes that emerged, and so I'm happy to share those themes with you. Really 6. The first was communication, as you can imagine, thinking further about ways that we establish transparency, the ways in which we utilize those one-on-one meetings to really get at being unified and coherent, and have the clarity that we need to do the work on behalf of students. Relationships was definitely a key theme, and not only relationships amongst this team, but relationships with our union, our labor partners, our community organizations, our students, and our staff, and so that's a priority. Theme 3, financial health. You all seem to be pretty passionate about not only monitoring and being clear on our priorities here in the district, but the ways in which we're going to lean into conversation at the state level, and helping to make sure that we're able to fund to provide the service that we need to provide. Theme 4, board governance, improving the effectiveness, addressing issues, realizing that each of you brings strengths together. You're a team, and we're a team, as Director Holland says, of 9. So just really appreciating that. Of course, monitoring and reporting. You all seem to have some passion and interests around making sure that our benchmarks are clear and that we're updating people along the way, right? So it's not just an internal document, but it's external facing. And then, of course, engagement, and not only engagement in community, but the ways in which we think about Portland as a place of choice, not only for our families to send kiddos, but for adults who choose to work for us. And so really being clear about the culture and the support that needs to happen so that we not only hire, but we retain the people who choose to be with us. So those were the themes that emerged. I am continuing conversations with leadership and other partners. And as I pull more themes together, we'll have a chance to have conversations around that. It will seed a lot of the work that'll go into our annual work plan. But I just wanted you all to be able to see how things landed for the team. The other thing I'd love to talk about is Summer Acceleration Academy. We are in the summer of 2024. We have 12 sites, 11 hub sites, and then one Ockley program that isn't considered a hub, but 12 in total. And just a couple of key bullet points for you to know, really focusing on literacy, prioritizing enrollment for historically underserved students, embedding DLI and ELD newcomer programs, so language development, and then early kindergarten transition programs at 9 of the hub sites. Transportation is provided, breakfast and lunch and snacks are provided, all free, no cost. And there's afternoon enrichment programs. Thank you to our partners who run those programs after the SAA program ends at about 1:30. Just so you can see on the right side, you can see what a day looks like with literacy as the main focus, but of course math, science, technology, and bringing in some blocks for enrichment. And enough time for lunch as well. And know that the team that are supporting are licensed reading specialists, and they're making sure that those groups are small. 15 is the cap, so that we can make sure that all students receive the time and attention that they need. Just to see it at a glance, I created this map so that you can see the regions just from a macro view. And so right now we have 2,401 students enrolled, and in the first week, so we've only had 3 days. So the data, this is all the data I have. I do look forward in August to bringing more information and more data points, but there's been 3 days so far that's been executed. And as you know, these last 2 days, the elementary hub sites were closed due to heat. But 1,900 in attendance. That is 80% of our students leaning into this program that's designed to build that academic foundation that our students need. So that's a celebration, and I'm excited about that. Yes. Just to see that at a glance, attendance, if you're curious the way to know the way that it breaks out across the sites, seems to be pretty well distributed amongst the hub sites. And so we're excited to see that. I'll continue to monitor. And I look forward to bringing forth our wonderful director who is leading this work, and have her do a more comprehensive report on the summer program when the program concludes. Just really quick, we got to show pictures, right? If we're having a conversation about students, then let's look at some of those adorable faces. So this is Summer Acceleration at Fabian K-8. So this is a foundations lesson. This is early literacy skill building for this student. This one is Lego robotics. So engaging a student in STEAM. This has been a hit in the last couple of summers. So excited to see that program back. And then the last picture, mathematics and just that mindset. So building confidence and digging in, that hands-on standards-based activities. And the wonderful thing about little learners is that they turn into graduates. So I don't know if you all saw the article that was dropped by OPB, but it is a really good read. I summarized it in the superintendent's report. It was a write-up about Measure 98 and how there is success seen with that measure. And if you just take a quick, I'm not going to read the text to you. You all have this uploaded in the board document. But if you take a look at that and you see the trend and the maintaining of that trend, I think is impactful. And I will say that there is some recognition and credit for the funding that came out of Measure 98 and an emphasis on CTE. So just really quickly, while we're talking about graduates and celebrations, I know that this was a item that you all were interested in seeing, and so I'm happy to share with you our 2024 graduates, noting not only who graduated from the school or the number that graduated, but also the valedictorians in those pathway diplomas, those completers, those IB programs, the candidates and credits earned through CTE and AP and in college with some of the sites, depending on the way they track. And then also, in addition to that, our graduates from our multiple pathways program, and super excited about those graduates as well. I think, as you all know, we have summer graduation coming in September, and sometime in the fall we'll have the actual data points that accurately reflect our number of graduates for the 2024 season. And so I'm just excited to be able to present this information to you. And with that, I just want to end with the way that I began, which is together we rise. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much. Would anybody like to comment on any of the amazing stuff that we just heard?
Just have a question. The early learning, summer learning, we're going to get a separate report on it? Because one thing I'm interested in is the number of students who could benefit from summer learning versus the number that we are able to access it. It just and then compare it to previous years as we look at just our advocacy in next year with the legislature, those summer earnings, because it seems like with 2,200, we're missing lots of students who could benefit from.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have comparative data in August when the program completes, and we'll be able to look back at the data. As you heard last year, the team talked about the pre and post assessment, so we're able to see over time in the academic year growth as a result of some attendance in the program, which of course we know, maybe not 100% reliable data, but I think we can make some claims from it. So there is a plan to bring in some of the comparative data and look at what's happened in previous years and what happened this year. So if there are some specific requests, we'll make sure we gather some of those questions so that when I bring Director Soto forward, she'll be prepared to answer some of those pressing questions that you may have.
Great, thank you.
I'm looking forward to visiting and would hope to visit during a math lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that prompt because I just realized that I forgot to mention that there's an email that's went out about some dates that we welcome you all to attend alongside me or some of the other senior directors. And we'd love to show off the program and watch our learners in action. So thank you.
I also had another question to Director Brum-Edwards' point. Do we track these students over time to find out? I know there's this empirical data, says this type of intervention is helpful, and I don't know what the numbers are attached to that, but is there a way to track them over time? So you can say, absolutely this intervention, back in 2024 led to their graduation.
Yes, we actually do track that, and that's why I said not 100%, because there could be some other interventions and things that happened in their school or through some other planned intervention that could also be a contributing factor. But we do believe the work that's happening in Summer Acceleration Academy is a contributing factor, and so that's part of the data set that we'll bring forward in August. or I keep saying August as if there's already a date scheduled for that presentation. So I'll just say fall and know that we're excited to share that information.
That was a close one because I would have held you straight to August. Straight to August. I'd have been looking for it. All right. Thank you, everyone. With that, next up, we have our student comments. Ms. Powell, do we have any students signed up to speak?
We do not.
We do not. So then I get to skip all of that. All right.
Better things to do.
Man, listen.
Meeting in the middle of the summer.
All right. Next up, we have general public comment. Ms. Powell, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. So then I haven't already given it, so I'm going to go back here and say it again. So before we begin, I'd like to review our regular guidelines for public comment. First, I want to say thank you. The board thanks you for taking the time to attend this meeting and for providing your comments. Public input, especially from the people that care about our community, probably I would say more than we do, because it's your kids, it's your family, it's your love. So thank you. But we know that that's important, and we know that also getting those comments helps us to be informed as well as improve our work. And so we look forward to hearing your thoughts and your reflections. Our board office may need to follow up with you on board-related issues raised during the public testimony, and if that's the case. So we request that any complaints that you have about individual employees be directed to the superintendent's office as a personnel matter. If you have materials that you would like the board to receive, you have a handout that you want to put in my hand that you want me to read, anything along those lines, I ask that you please not come up here to the dais, but that instead you hand that over to Miss Roseanne, who's over there. She's not the board. Wave at the people so that the people can see. If you got something that you want me to get, give it to her. Don't give it to me. Don't come up here. Stop doing that. And then she will distribute the information to us. If you have additional materials or anything else that you would like to provide later to the board or to the superintendent, we ask that you email them to public comment, that's all one word, at pps.net. That's PUBLICCOMMENT at pps.net. And please make sure that you begin your comments when you begin your comments, that you clearly state your name and spell your last name. You're going to have 3 minutes to speak, and at the end of your 3 minutes, you'll hear a sound, and that means that your time is up. At that point, you'll have an additional 30 seconds to wrap up your comment. 3 minutes to talk. I know that you can't get everything that you would like to say to the board done in 3 minutes. It's practically impossible. So get to the good stuff right away, and then anything else submit in writing to the board. We're gonna get, after the buzzer goes off, you get 30 seconds. At the end of the 30 seconds, it's not that I'm being rude. It's not that, I don't like you. It's your time is up. So we're gonna say time. Thank you so very much for your time. Thank you so very much for your comments. I don't want anybody to think that I'm cutting anyone off. There's not enough people here for that tonight. But I think I want to start setting the precedent that time is time. And we can't spend all night with it. So get to the good stuff right away. Get to the heart of it, and then send the rest of the stuff in later. And at that point, I think we'll be good. So with that being said, we got all the stuff in order. Everybody's good. Ms. Roseanne, I feel like, oh my goodness, you know what just came to my mind? You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. It just literally, come on down. Just give us the name, and then we're going to say it that way.
We have Clarence Larkins and Art Wallace.
You said Terrence Larkins?
Clarence Larkins.
Clarence Larkins.
And Art Wallace.
And Art Wallace. If you are here, you are the next contestant on the PPS board comments section. Come on down. You don't work out or anything, do you? I didn't think so.
Excuse me, it's my first time doing this, so a little nervous. My intent here and stuff is to kind of give you a picture of the people that work for you in the maintenance department. My name is Art Wallace, SWALLACE. I have been an employee here for 15 years in the electrical department, specifically doing fire alarm systems. I am an IFBB Pro bodybuilder. As a professional athlete, I understand the necessity of commitment, consistency, and diligence. I take pride in who I am and what I do. But I'm not alone in those characters. All my fellow workers that work with me have the same passion for doing well in what we do in the electrical department. I want to kind of give you an example of some of the things that we have faced and what we've done for the school district. As a fire alarm tech and stuff, we do fire alarm inspections, and the previous regime had ignored our deficiencies that we had to such an extreme where the fire marshal was then fining because the fire alarm systems were out of compliance. We put together a 5-year plan and negotiated with the fire marshal district, and the fire marshal agreed to allow us 5 years to get every fire alarm system in the school district up to power. We accomplished that without any additional manpower and without losing any of our other perspective and other priorities. I know that there are others in the DCU that have other stories such as that, where we've stepped up to the plate and gone well above and beyond what was required of us. I say this is to try to give you an idea and stuff that we don't want to be a people that are reactive. We want to be preventative, but we've become reactive, where our situation and stuff has become out of control, and we are constantly taking on huge projects that could have been diminished with a better control. I say this is to kind of give you an idea, so as we are in the middle of the negotiations, and to kind of understand that the people that work for you want to do well. We succeeded, we worked hard, and most of us have committed to continuing on that. We all want to take pride in what we do, and I just want you guys to take that in consideration as we go in the middle of negotiations and stuff, that we only want to be rewarded for the work that we've done, even when there was no reward for us. We completed this without any incentive other than we wanted to get it done right. That's pretty much all I wanted to tell you guys. Thank you for all that you're doing. I know that you guys are in a very difficult situation. It's got to be very hard to make choices. We all have had to make those kind of choices and stuff in this current economy. We are on board with you. We want to see this district succeed, and we are here to make that happen. Thank you.
Mr. Wallace, thank you so much for your comments, and we appreciate all the work that you and your team and your colleagues are doing to keep our buildings together. So thank you so very much. Do we have anyone else signed up? Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on. The next we have on the board committee and conferences reports. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to my colleagues to provide updates on their committees. And I'll just start, and we'll go down the line with the committee updates. The audit committee, Ms. Chair DePass, what do you?
Sure. So the audit committee met on June 20th. PPS's Office of Internal Performance Audit presented the Student Body Funds Audit Report, and the objective of that Student Body Funds audit was to determine whether the school has adequate controls in place to ensure the complete and accurate accounting, tracking, and safeguarding of student body funds. Student body funds represent monies that are held on behalf of students, which come from donations, fees, grants, and other monies, primarily from parents, students, community members, and local businesses. Most are given for a designated purpose and are held in activity accounts that are restricted for a designated use. PPS policy and state law requires expenditures of student body funds be made for goods and services that provide direct benefit to students. The auditors reported that the school district's internal controls need to be strengthened to maintain the overall integrity of the student body funds. The audit identified several instances of noncompliance and opportunities for improvement. However, the audit did not identify any evidence of intentional fraud, which is great news. The audit included 7 recommendations on strengthening internal controls over student body funds, and the Accounting Services Department agreed with all 7, which is it's really positive. The student body funds audit report will be provided to the full board on the consent agenda on the August 6th meeting. And if any board members have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the auditor directly, and she'll be happy to go over the report in detail with you. Status update on the implementation of the 5 recommendations that were provided in the hardship petition transfer audit issued in April of 2023. Following the issuance of this audit report, the Enrollment and Transfer Center developed an implementation plan on how the department plans to implement the 5 recommendations. And this was the first status update related to the hardship petition transfer audit since it was issued. And although all of the recommendations have not been fully implemented, it was really great to see the progress the Enrollment and Transfer Center department has made toward the implementation of those recommendations. We also discussed adding a second community member, so we are allowed 2 community members on the audit committee, and the audit committee voted to refer the community member to the full board for appointment. That community member will be presented in the August 8th meeting. August 6th, I believe. And that's it.
Thank you so much. The Policy Committee Chair, Brim Edwards.
Thank you. We had our most recent meeting on June 25th. We have 2 policies that will be coming to the board for a first reading or introduction. The first was a policy that Director Wong asked us to consider that would accommodate extended travel. And so we had several committee discussions about it, and we'll be sending a first reading to the board. We also had a policy related to promotion and retention of students that was requested by staff. That will also be coming for first reading. That's a modification. And then we had 2 other policies, the high school credit earned prior to 9th grade, and also cell phones in schools that we had a discussion about. Did not move the policy on the cell phones in schools. We had a draft. We have a draft policy for consideration, and are actively soliciting feedback from our school community, and look forward to hearing from students, which we know have an opinion about this issue, but also talking to our staff and parents. So that's the report from the Policy Committee.
Can I ask a question about the Policy Committee specifically? I haven't had a chance to review to watch the last meeting, so I apologize. But on the cell phone policy, I know it's getting a lot of press nationally, locally. We're getting some emails around it. Do we have? You say you have a draft policy that's out for comment or feedback? Or?
No, it's we introduced it at the committee, and so it's out there.
It's out there. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just forward it right to you.
Well, I have it in board book, so
yeah,
forward
it's a very short policy. Again, sort of setting some general guidance, and again, it's a draft. It's based on the LA, I believe, policy. We looked at a number of policies from around the country. States have put in place bans or restrictions. We also have one of our high schools who Grant and also Beaumont, I believe, that are restricting cell phone use this year and using yonder pouches. So we're gonna have some data. Sorry, this is a long answer to your question.
No, it's a great answer.
We'll have some data from our own schools, but also North Clackamas for all their middle and high schools have implemented restrictions, and they have yonder pouches for everyone. So we'll have, I think, a number of data points to see what tools are most effective.
Do we have a timeline that we're thinking about?
Yes, that's a great question. That there's, I think this is one of those policies where we're going to want to make sure that we hear from everyone.
I will
And
tell you that my daughter, who's a junior, has strong feelings about this policy that she
Great.
has shared with me.
she can
No.
share with her dad.
I would not have guessed that.
We fully expect you to read this on your summer vacation.
And so I had a conversation with Superintendent Armstrong the other day about just the process by which we make sure that the school community has an opportunity, not just students to weigh in, but really the day in and day out staff teachers, principals who would need to enforce the new policy. So I think we want to get that feedback. We also discussed the potential of having some sort of guidance as we head into the school year. People will know that this is under discussion. And we'll be also be getting some data that I think will help guide us. Sometimes when you're the early adopter, for example, the Yonder pouches are quite, if you buy it district-wide, expensive. Is that the right tool? But I think that this fall we'll be heading
We're
toward-
not trying to have a policy in place before the school year starts. That was really sort of my question.
Yeah, so just looking at the policy timeline, we wouldn't have time. Also, we think it's important that the school community, especially those that will implement it, will have a chance to share their experiences, like the Benson teachers that came last week. And also, we want to get that data from the schools that are actually have a real-time experience.
Great, thank you. It's an important conversation, so I'm glad you're having it, and I'm looking forward to hearing from students beyond just the one data point I will have, as well as families and other community members.
We might have a data point right next to you, too.
Thank you.
Anybody else had any comments about that? And I appreciate you for making sure that you publicly stated that your daughter has some strong feelings on that. Yeah, because she's sitting at home watching right now saying, you better say something, because if you don't say something, I'm going to have words with you when you get home. So,
she knew what the Yonder pouches were before I did.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Of course.
excellent. Thank you so much, Chair Board members. Director Wong. Chair Wong.
Yeah, we have nothing new to report from the Student Success Committee because the last meeting was before our last board meeting, which I gave the final report.
Okay. Thank you so much. Director Hollins, if he's still gone, out of here. He's got nothing because he's not here. All right, I want to thank you all so much for your comments. Thank you for the work that you've done in your committees, as that work has helped us to move the district forward. Next, the board is going to vote on the consent agenda. Board members, if there are any items that you would like to pull for discussion, we will set those aside for a separate discussion and then vote. Ms. Powell, are there or have there been any changes to the consent agenda?
Yes, we have pulled 3 contracts on the consent agenda. Project Wayfinder, Go to Mr. Sam's and Roan's, branding and marketing for the August meeting.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Board members, are there any other items that you would like to pull for a separate discussion and vote on?
So I'm just going to briefly state why I asked to have those 3 items removed and to have.
You do know that that wasn't necessary, right?
Well, I'm going to explain why, because I think it's, I mean.
Okay. I just want to just throw that out there just in case, it's like.
Well, I'm going to explain why, because I want.
People to know.
I want the other board members to know why I took them off. And first of all, I apologize. It was last minute. I was out of the country and I just got back. Is at the last Facility and Operations Committee meeting, we had a report on just the bond spend and the curriculum. There was a report on the curriculum, and we had allocated $53 million. We've spent $76 million, and we had, in the 2020 bond, told the community that we would have all subjects, all grades, a curriculum update with a very large commitment of funds. And it's not clear that we have spent more than we anticipated, and it's not clear we're on track going forward. So I connected with the Superintendent Armstrong about just better understanding where we are as we head into the next bond cycle, knowing where, especially if we've gone over budget, and also going over budget in a way that potentially using general fund that we could use for other purposes. So I'm interested in more detailed accounting, recognizing that Superintendent Armstrong is just new in this position, and but would like that before we vote on. There's the two SEL contracts are for a total of $3 million, and we had allocated, I think, $1 million initially for that particular area. So I'd just like to get a better understanding for the look back and where we are. And then the other one is a $170,000 contract for a branding campaign for CTE, and I just had some questions about that. So that, again, it's because I came back late that I didn't get a chance to have a discussion before the vote. So, and I'm happy to share the information that I got back from staff in the initial query.
Thank you so much for that comment and that explanation as to why you pulled that. With that in mind, do I have a motion and a second to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right. It looks like it was moved by Director Brim Edwards and seconded by Director Scott. Is there any board discussion on the consent agenda? Okay. Hearing none, the board will now vote on Resolution 6936 through 6941. All in favor, please indicate by saying yes. All opposed, please indicate by saying no.
Yes.
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 Yes. And our student director, let me don't say nothing. Kunsivi. I'm gonna say it again afterwards, and you're gonna help me because before this is over, I'm gonna say your name right. It is what it is. Could you please indicate your vote?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, it looks like, here we go. The consent agenda has passed with a vote of 6-1 with our student director unofficially voting. I see that 6-0. I was thinking Gary didn't vote as the one person that didn't vote. 6-0 with our student director unofficially voting yes. Thank you. All right. With that being said, is there any other business that we need to discuss on this evening? I'm looking around. This is y'all last and final chance. Okay, nothing. Do we have any of our union partners here? We have not had the labor partners notify us that they have a desire to speak, but if they're here, I want to make sure. Nope. Okay. With that being said, I think that's it. This meeting is adjourned. The next regular meeting of the board will take place on August 6th. Thank you so much for your time. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Just want to note, we're ahead of schedule. Thank you.